We now return to Let's Play Lethis, Path of Progress. It's time for the campaign, the first mission, Fedheim. Our objective is 1,500 workers in level 10 housing. We're jumping right into it and having to build up all of the common housing to the maximum. So that'll be fun. Mr. Ellington, what a pleasure to meet you. That's apparently my name. How are you? I have excellent news. As you might have heard, Professor Alstrom's inventions are sensational. Condensed steam is a source of energy. Yet, this also may lead to a rural exodus. Big cities are going to pop up, just as fey mushrooms. A focus on agriculture and steady food supply will become important issues. It is your task to tackle these problems. All eyes are on you. Succeed and the Empire will reward you portly. Portly? Archibald Ellington is one of the best urbanists in all of Lethis, and he risks his career with this task. He has to swiftly build a city with strong focus on agriculture in the high provinces to prevent a local famine. Wilhelm IV, Emperor of Lethis, chose Fedheim for this task, a large, fertile area south of the Empire's capital city, Sterenhall. There are no geysers to be found in this area, yet you can provide your workers with copper via trade. Well, that's going to be kind of an iffy situation then, because we're going to need steam to get to level 10. Achievement unlocked, yay! I started a new game. Okay, so we have a large agricultural area smack dab in the center. And what else have we got out here? Well, we don't have any Fey, we don't have any ore. What am I looking for here? We have access to wheat and barley. Okay. Well, we'll be able to make beer then with the barley, but looks like we might have... Okay, well, we can have a ranch. So we'll be able to make bread and meat, and I believe 2 should be enough to get us pretty far. I just have to decide where I want to put this, and I guess it doesn't really matter since we don't have to be close to any other resources aside from the farms, so I guess I'll just go ahead and build something here. Now I have, off camera, I've spent a little bit of time experimenting on these sandbox maps with layouts, and you can make fairly big layouts with the exception that the water guy does not walk as far as everyone else. So I'll show you one layout I'm going to go with for this city. It is 10 long, 10 houses long, and which is that, and it is 4 groups wide. I'll leave a little space there because I want to put the theater there. And this is enough that the guy will walk all the way around. The other layout is to go 11, but instead of 2 spaces in between, you just have the 1 strip, and the water carrier will still go. The other walkers will actually go up to 12, and I think even 12 with 2 spaces in between. They can walk really far, but it's just that one water carrier that really limits what you can do. But that's okay. Doesn't have to be very big. Both layouts, by the way, I've discovered, if you maximize your placement, will give you 49 houses. And that is not with putting the theater here, because that takes up way too many spaces. If you put the theater like off there where it's just touching 1, and just squeeze all the rest of that stuff in, and don't put the town hall up there or anywhere along here, you can squeeze 49 houses in. I'm just going to go ahead and put in a rather condensed group. Go ahead and put the well there. And put that guy there, because I have no idea how many we can fit into all of this at level 10. So I'll just try that for now. Another trick to squeezing this in is for this washer, instead of putting it like this, rotate it like that. Kind of unnecessary right now because of where I've placed that theater, but I'll go ahead and put, well, I'll anticipate putting it there. I'm not going to put it there right now. Let's see. Now the rather tedious part, and the fountains don't rotate, darn it. The rather tedious part of getting all the various beautification structures in there, I find that it does take quite a bit of time to fit all of this in. Now the thing is, there are no 4x4 beautification structures, so we're going to have to fill in all the spots manually, which is going to take even more time, and really I guess I could probably pause and, you know, not do this on camera, but whatever. I did not actually mean to pick this tree, but whatever, we'll go with that one for now. Let's see, I can just go, you know what, let's just put in strips of the flowers. I was going to make like a checkerboard design. That takes a little bit too much time. We'll go with maybe an orange tree up there, and let's see what else. Let's put in a street light behind that, and now I also don't know the values. I know in the Impressions games, you know, the larger the structure, the more valuable. Let's put in a park here. The more valuable the appeal that it provided. I'm not really sure what the values are here. Let's just go a big field of blue because screw it. Let's start. Move some people in. Gonna have to bump this up to... Let me test here. Nope. The developers did release a patch rather quickly to address some issues. One of which was actually providing 4 more sandbox maps. The game, when I got it anyway, only had the one. I was testing though to see if they had any shortcuts added for the speed and whatnot, and they have not done that yet. Okay, so the water carrier dude walks all the way around. I have 73% unemployment. First thing I'm going to do is take up a huge amount of space by putting down the town hall. This takes up way too much space, and if I really wanted to maximize, I'd put it off to like 1 there. But again, we've got a lot of room on this map, so if I need to build another housing block, I will. I will also put down a tax office, and I didn't really leave myself room to do that. I guess I can put it up here. I don't really want to concentrate the unappealing stuff too much, and you can kind of tell already based on the corners that having these 2 structures there is really detrimental to the appeal of the area. I'll just put it there, and then we'll put the washer thing right next to it. Whoa. Whoa, really? We changed the corners there? The tax office is appealing? That makes no sense. What we do need, though, is some food. So, 33% or 37%, wow. Let's begin building some farms. I also did a little bit of testing to see how many of the various structures will provide what to whom. So maybe I'll be able to maximize my space here. I didn't do that for everything, so I'm not quite sure how many farms will provide what we need, and I'm already making mistakes because I'm not providing myself with space for the distribution stuff. I can do that on some other side. Actually, what I can do is I can put it up here and then build another housing block, maybe going out this way in the future. That way they can kind of share distribution up there. Although what that does is it kind of, you know what, let's put distribution over here. Just to be silly, because I'm going to need a lot of room for trading, since that will be something that is going to be an issue to begin with. The farms do not require... So you know what, in that case I'm going to put all the manufacturing on the other side. I'm going to put... Where is it? This guy. I'm going to put all that on its own side. And in fact, I think I'll just run this up to... Well, let's just run it up to there. That should be enough. That way I don't need to muddy up my farms with having all that stuff here. I can just run roads to them. Okay, so first thing, I'm gonna need some food distribution. I probably want to put that on the other side, as far away from the houses as I can get it. So we'll put it over here. I guess that means I'll be putting the market on this side as well. Okay, one thing I want to do is come in here and make sure I am not accepting grain or the barley, because that's not food in and of itself. Let's also put down a market just to begin with. Let's see if I squeeze it over there. I can put, yeah, that should work, right? Then I can put, well, actually that'll allow me, there is one structure. What is it? It's the herbalist? No, that's 2. That's 2. They're all 2s. Okay. Well, in that case, the shop, I guess I can put here. And yeah, we'll just do that. Okay, so let's find out. It's fall right now, so we're not going to get a very big crop. It's winter right now, and we're... what's going on here? I'm not really sure. 31 more workers needed. Okay. Well, I know that I've saved myself quite a bit of room on the edges. Let's save a little bit of room in the middle of the city, though, because I want to sort of try to spread out the various buildings so that we can keep appeal somewhat appealing. That ought to be enough, maybe? We'll find out. As soon as the water dude comes along. Not enough. Dang it. Well, let's just put some more houses down here then. Gonna have to deal with the appeal eventually. As soon as the water guy comes along. Okay, so we should now have enough people. There we go, plenty of people. So, we didn't... okay. They actually do have a little bit of food in there. So let's get the bakery started. How big is the ranch? Okay, well I want to keep the ranches on their own side somewhere. What I could possibly do, instead of having this road like here where it would get too close to the houses, I could probably just have it extend this way and then we'll just have this guy walk a long way. But the bread baking, I should say, is not too big. You know, if I put this here, I could probably put, I mean, I'd have to put a lot of gardens and whatnot. Okay, you know what, let's get this plan started that I was talking about. We'll just have a road going that way. Dang it. This is going to be a very zigzaggy road. It's unfortunate we can't build over those trees, but then again, I don't really see why it would let you. 2 should be more than enough for the 2 fields that I've got, and then we'll just put in some bakeries. Probably support 3 right now. However, I think I'm going to need more people. Oh yeah, 34 more people to be precise. Okay, well let's just start filling all of this in then. We'll go like that, and let me see. So I've got space enough for... did I not leave my space? Damn it! Well, I screwed that one up. Go something like that. There. Then we can bring the roads out of the top. Yeah, I messed that one up. Well, in that case, I can just have the road go this way instead of out the top, meaning that I can put another building right up here. Maybe I'll save that one for... because I think I need to have room for the kiosk, the ghost dude, and then there's probably one more. 11 more workers needed. Well, fortunately the bakeries are full, so let's just go ahead and turn this all down, because we don't need that windmill. And now we should only need the one worker, but that should not stop productivity. We apparently, however, we're not able to pull the wheat out of here. Do we actually need it to go to the granary first? I guess we'll try that. Let's lower how much it actually takes, though. I only want maybe 2,000. I can't specify 2,000? Well, 1,800 then. Fine. What's going on, guys? Why can't it get that? Get? Oh, because the road isn't complete. That would be why. In that case, we can change this back to accept, or possibly even refuse. So what is that? I guess I don't need to worry about it. I'm just going to go ahead and empty this and see if we can do that. Profitable veins. Starenhall's mines are producing more copper than usual. The Emperor therefore decided to export a higher amount of it. You may now import more copper from Starenhall. Great. Probably should wait until my economy stabilizes. We are at minus 200. That's not too bad, all things considered. We do have a very small amount of industry going. Let me see here. All of my stocks are used up, and yet the windmill, okay, we're gonna need another one for sure. I just realized that this building has sort of been on its own. That's not so great. Let's see, and if I'm gonna add another building down here, well, you know what? We'll just use this for 2 buys or whatever. Yeah, I was kind of leaving that to disaster, but now the inspector should be able to walk by it, and we'll be fine. And he goes all the way to the end of the road. The inspectors walk a very long ways in this game, which I'm glad for. Okay, 44% unemployment. We can definitely turn that on. And I'm sure we can add even more wheat farms. Four, 3, 2, 1. That should be enough. Possibly. Okay. We still need 4,000 meat set aside for the Emperor. Discoverer Calvin Nemo recently came back from his expedition with huge news. He discovered an enormous island in the midst of the ocean. Many thought that Lethis' east was merely covered by an endless sea. The blue island just reminds us again of what marvelous times we're living. Citizens became more content. Good. Is that going to show up on my map at all, possibly? I mean, you'd think maybe that would be it, but nope. Okay, so Starenhall, I guess I can open that up. They sell copper. We're going to need that. Whatever that is. Potatoes? I'd like some tooltips. I forget what the pumpkin faces are. Potatoes there. Hasselport sells fish. Rumendale. Okay. Well, we might want to look at these trade partners for what they buy from us. What are the mailbox looking things again? This is ridiculous. I'm gonna have to make a warehouse in order to see some of that stuff. Can I put that way up here? I can put this way up here. Okay. Glass. Won't be worrying about that for a while. Let's see, what do I want to turn off here? I want to make sure I'm not taking in some of the raw materials. So I can refuse the gold and the copper, or that's not copper, that's iron. Steel, I don't know that we'll get that far. Well, we're going to level 10, so I suppose we will, right? We'll refuse that. Flour, I don't want to accept. Let's see, I think that's jewelry. We're not focusing on any of the elite housing, so I don't think that is something I need actually way up here. I'll refuse that. Glass in that case, I think glass is for the elites as well. Ornaments, possibly also for the elite. We'll worry about that when we get to it, but I'm pretty sure I don't want to accept steel either, because I just want to keep this for goods, and the pumpkin faces are silk. Well, silk I don't think we need for people either, for common people. Oh, we can probably stop the phase. Well, you know what, we don't even have to worry about it, because we're not going to accept them. Great. Okay, how many people do we still have? 20%. Okay, so let's focus on our next need, which is access to the wash house, which is only going to give me even more people. But that's okay. We will increase the quality of living for people, which increases my tax revenue. Speaking of which, let's find out. Still in the negative 200s, a little bit less, in fact, than before. Should possibly get started on putting aside some of the meat. We're getting kind of low on the bread. Let's try and add another bread maker. I don't really need to try and add. I mean, it's not like it takes that much effort. So one thing I need to make sure we're doing is keeping the raw materials topped up, and that is how I'm going to know if I have enough producers, and it would seem that I do. We just had our wheat harvest, it looks like. Capital is in need for silk. Damn it. Wilhelm demands 1,000 units of silk to be delivered in a year. Okay. Well, in that case, we're going to have to get the barley started, and one thing we do need is an exorcist, because we've got ghosts. That is in government. Put the exorcist right there in the middle of town. I'm also going to spend, we've got 33% unemployment, I'm going to spend some of those people to begin production of barley farms. Maybe not so good to put it this close to the houses, but I'll go ahead and build 3 of those, and then we can begin construction of these silkworms. The tailor goes next to it. That's the herbalist greenhouse. Okay, so we're gonna need some silkworm farms. I'd like to keep them a little bit further away from the houses if I can, but you know what, I think with enough appeal we might be able to offset whatever is going on there. I'll save that like a 3x on this side. Well, I could easily put them on that side as well. You know what, let's just do it. We can offset appeal. 3 farms is going to be more than enough to keep these full. Then we can come in here and put in the tailors. Tailor would actually fit up there, but I'll keep those for 2x, I suppose. Let's put 1, 2, 3 tailors. I'm sure that'll be enough. And so now I actually do need silk available, and I don't believe I turned it off, so that's good. Let's come back in here and let's do maybe a big fountain right there. And then you know what, I'll put some beautification around off camera, just because it's gonna eat up a lot of unnecessary time. So how many people did we gobble up with that? Too many. Too many. Okay, well, they need alcohol before we can actually evolve them further. And let's see, we're gonna have to probably set up some stuff here. So for these people, they need beer. Let's set that to 2,000. They're also going to need silk. Well, we want... He said he wanted 1,000, right? So we'll just set that to, okay, for 1,200 then. Clothing. This isn't actually going to make me clothing, is it? This will... If we put those tailors in, they will make the clothing. We don't actually need them right now then. Clothing is not a demand, but silk is for that request. So I'll turn those off, and that'll save me some people. And I'm setting that aside so we can do the request. Let's make sure that is, in fact, the request. Where is it? Politics? Yes, send 1,000. Okay, I noticed that there's still a lot of French that has not been translated to English. That's okay. The exorcist dude is floating around. We can click on some of these people. See the wonderful illustrations for them. So these begin not now, but they are nonetheless consuming people, right? Not yet. Crisis in Hasselport. Hasselport's steam condenser exploded, which led to severe terraforming of its river delta and to a deluge. Many flee. They need to urgently repair the city to restore the fishing region's economy. All trade routes to Hasselport are closed. Not terrible, because we don't really need them. Yet, anyway. So what are we looking at here? Environment is not pretty enough, yeah. Okay, so we'll be doing that. Unemployment is at 28%. I'm fine with that. It's going to be a little bit before we can get the whole silk thing started. So, bread, we could really do with some more bread, to be honest. I'd like to have the food situation taken care of a little bit better. I could put in another wheat farm, and then we'll start making the meat. How big are the ranches? Yeah, we're going to have to start doing that. Okay. Well, I think I'll have my first industrial area out here, obviously. That's sort of where we're going. In the meantime, I'll put down some beautification to make sure that these people can actually evolve if they so desire. We'll get some alcohol started. Possibly that means I'll be expanding my barley and wheat farm, so I guess that's where we will be putting the employment, or in this case the unemployment, next. Let's have a look at the money. Have we gone positive? Absolutely not. No, we are very much not, and that's mostly because of huge amounts of construction. So if you subtract that from the construction, we're actually doing okay. I mean, we are putting in a lot of money. We're going to have to start looking at exports. So, some things to do for next time. I'll end this one here, and see you then.